Good teams play with structure. Good teams defend hard. Good teams don't swing, turn, they stop, they start, they work hard, they're committed. And, we had some of that in our game before. And, Mark, as great as he was, he wasn't.
He was at the end of his effectiveness. I'll say it.
A little bit. He was a great passer. He was great. We had the puck, but we couldn't defend. We couldn't keep it out of our net. And, and things got kind of crazier from that point forward. But, it just it turned out to be a little bit of a mess, as we all know. So
we're going to take a short break, come back, talk more with Trevor Linden. You've got it on the Team 1040.
This is a Fred and Taylor podcast. This is where Vancouver talks sports in the afternoon. You're on the Team 1040 and Rogers Sportsnet with Dave Pratt and Don Taylor.
Not much to cheer about in the here and now, but the general picture, there's plenty to cheer about. Lots of memories through the years, and now they come to their feet.
Linden's back out there.
Linden onto the ice for the final seconds of the game as this one comes to an end. And both the season and maybe a career are over. 7-1 Calgary, the final. And the Canucks will turn their attention to 08-09 with a major regrouping job ahead.
The Flames are going to their dressing room. The Canucks are all out on the ice. Everybody is giving Trevor Linden a big hug. And they're just mobbing Trevor right now. Everybody taking their turns to wish him good luck, good health. You don't have to say a prosperous life. He has that already. Been a great hockey player.
And here come the Flames to shake Trevor Linden's hand.
Yeah, there you go. This is classy.
They're not here to shake all the Canucks hands.
I knew they were lining up.
Just Trevor's hand. And they're actually coming back from the dressing room. I bet Mike Keenan has something to do with this.
Oh, he might have. And Keenan, remember, traded Linden. But, it could have been Jerome McGinley, too. You don't know who did this, but this is a real classy move by the Calgary Flames. Nobody's left the building that's here.
I'm going to Ginla over Keenan.
Yeah,
just a thought. I'm not sure.
How good was that?
It was pretty special. I think that for Jerome, obviously he was behind that, and it's interesting because I've thought Jerome, and I've said this to him on the ice, and I've said this for at least 6 years. I remember having this debate with Mike Keenan. Mike Keenan and I, we'd talk about everything, and I used to say that Jerome's the best player in the game. And because he brings the total package, you know what I mean? He brings offense, defense, that toughness, and he also brings that attitude you want from your superstar player. That's how you want your superstar to be in your market. I mean, he's critical, right? So for him to make that offering was incredible and very special for sure.
Now, let's get on to the next time you're going to wear a Vancouver Canucks jersey. Sometime this season coming up, they're going to retire number 16. You have to have thought about it.
On a day like today, I've been thinking about a lot of things. Obviously, that's be a little presumptuous on my part, but
okay, I'll say it. They're going to retire 16.
I don't know what to say.
All right,
but it will be a great moment.
Sure.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
If that was to happen, I mean, obviously, it'd be very special day. I mean, but. We'll wait for that announcement.
Now, have you got emotional today? Have you teared up a little bit?
I expected you to cry today.
Yeah. I disappointed you, Don.
You did, yeah. But my wife was crying, if that means anything.
But mine was, too.
When you see 16 going up in the rafters.
You know what was weird, Dave? Because the week leading up to today, the last 5 or 6 days I've been going over kind of my thoughts, everything else. I think I had more moments that it was more kind of surreal, doing that. I mean, today I kind of got a little focused and, wanted to present what I had to say and everything else. So, I think though when it's right and when it's the right thing and I was able to, I met with the whole Orca Bay staff before,
right,
80 some people, and I held on there and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a long day. So, but I will say on my way to the rink, for April 5th, I cried from the minute I left my driveway till I got to GM Place.
You got it out then.
Maybe I did, yeah. A good cry is always good, right,
Yeah.
Donnie? I mean,
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm a sensitive guy.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, Dave wouldn't know anything.
No,
about that. Yeah. But,
I'm always the bad guy.
So, I managed to get through it, and not to say that it wasn't easy, but, it's just, I had the best job in the world, and a job I dreamed of doing, and I'll miss the guys. I mean, when I think of the great guys in that room, the Sedins and Matthias, and I talked to Kevin Bieksa the other day, and Alex Burrows and Roberto. I mean, you take that for granted, right? I mean, Willie Mitchell. You go to the rink every day and you see these guys that you just, and you get to associate with these great guys, and such a wonderful fraternity.
There's nothing like it.
No, it's awesome. So I'll miss that for sure.
Emotional, and I want to stick with this just for a second because this is a great story. Game 7, you play your guts out. And that shot of you, one knee on the ice, Don talks about this all the time.
That's my favorite moment with you. Dave and I were both in New York. I mean,
right.
all the media was. Even if some guys weren't working, they were there.
Yeah. More working is hard.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember you watching the Rangers doing what they were doing with the Cup. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on one knee. Then later on, I think most of the Canucks had left. And then you were there, still there. You looked back.
Yeah.
Looked back at the whole scene.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
Well, I remember when I was on one knee, I was actually got Mike Richter's stick across the bridge of my nose and broke my nose again. So I was on my one knee trying to straighten my nose up a little bit. But, it was like one of the it was I said this to Rick today. I said, it was one of the most it was despair. Mm-hmm. It was like, wow, you're leaving this ice with nothing, really, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. I mean, I remember the days after that and weeks after that. It left a mark. When you lose in 4 or 5 games, you can kind of walk away and say, they were better than us.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you lose in 7,
that's hard.
And one game determines holding the trophy that you've dreamed of, that's a tough one.
I heard you say earlier that on the plane ride home from '94 in Game 7, you were thinking to yourself, what was all that for? We came away with nothing.
That was hard.
Yeah, but let me tell you this, though. I'll disagree with you in this way. I know he didn't get the Stanley Cup, but I think hockey became much more popular in Vancouver after that series.
Well,
I think it really, really cemented this franchise and this community.
I think your immediate reaction is, your emotions are that, right? I think upon reflection, you step back a little bit.
And you're younger,
trust
too.
Me, exactly. But at the time, it was, wow. And it was so empty. It was very empty, And of course, when you get back and you see the response, because you're kind of insulated from the response of the people, right? Because you're so involved in the game and everything about what's going on back home and everything. So, yeah, no question. It was. We had some great teams leading up to that. We're knocking on the door and good teams. We couldn't get past LA the year before.